So good evening to everyone, and thank you for taking out your precious time and coming over. I welcome all the media houses here and also the people from Think Tank. We are the Indian delegation under the leadership of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and also on behalf of 1.4 billion Indians. We are here because of what happened on 22nd April last month in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. Let me introduce you, all my colleagues who are in this delegation. He is the senior most member in the delegation, having an experience of 34 years in Parliament and also the former minister. He is S.S. Ahluwalia ji. He is Manan Mishra. He is also the member of Parliament from the upper house. He is the chairman in India of the Bar Council of India. Then we have on the right side Atul Garg ji. He is also the member of Parliament. Then we have our deputy ambassador. Then we have member of Parliament Basari Swaraj ji, who is also the member of Parliament from Lok Sabha. Then the member of Parliament Dr. Sasmit Patra ji from Rajya Sabha is a second time member of Parliament. Then we have our former ambassador and also a senior diplomat Sujan Chinoy ji.
Indian ambassador.
Indian ambassador. One more member is coming, who is also E.T. Bashir Mohammed, who is also senior member of Parliament, very experienced, and also from the opposition bench. So E.T. Bashir Mohammed is from the opposition bench, and also Sasmit Patra ji from the opposition bench, BJD, his party. So this delegation comprises of both the things, treasury as well as the opposition. So, and we are all from the different parties, but we are united in this fight against terrorism. We speak in one language, one tone. So we started from UAE and ending in Liberia. In between, we went to Sierra Leone and DR Congo. We are carrying a message of peace. We are carrying the message of zero tolerance against terrorism. We are here because what happened on 22nd April last month in Pahalgam, where 26 innocent lives were killed, were brutally killed. A brutal terrorist attack took place in India, killing innocent lives before their families. Husband were killed in front of their wives, and father was killed in front of the children. 3 were from my constituency, and others were from rest of India. So this was not one of its attack that took place. There are several attacks which India is undergoing since many years, but this time it was the attack on humanity. After 15 days, we undertook Operation Sindoor, where we retaliated, but retaliated with responsibility and restraint, where only terrorist organizations were neutralized, based in Pakistan. So it is Pakistan who is funding, who is supporting all the terrorist organizations which are named by US and UNSC. You must have heard Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen. These are the terrorist organizations which are proliferating in the soil of Pakistan. Supported by Pakistan, sponsored by Pakistan, trained by Pakistan, and also exported to different parts of India to carry out these terror attacks. So India has been fighting this kind of terror attacks for over 4 to 5 decades. But today is the time all nations should unite together to fight against this terrorism. This terrorism does not know the boundaries, and this terrorism is not only between the two nations. This terrorism has spread beyond borders to the entire world. So we are here to sensitize. Our only motive is to sensitize the world, to sensitize the nations. If you see, in only African continent, we are covering 7 nations by different delegations. All over we are covering around 33 nations, where this message of peace and message of zero tolerance against terrorism, we are spreading it to the whole world. So this is the high time where we all should come together, all the nations should come together in the fight against this terrorism. And as we went to all these nations, UAE, Sierra Leone, DR Congo and Liberia, all the nations assured and were very positive that they will stand with India in these tough times and also in this battle against terrorism. Liberia also today, Liberia also observed the moment of silence in the Senate. And also the moment of silence was observed by the Honorable Speaker in his chamber, along with the Deputy Speaker and all other chairmen of the different committees. This means a lot for India. We are very much thankful, very much obliged that Sierra Leone and Liberia both have stood and observed, and also UAE and DR Congo. So I think the message which we want to spread and also give it to the nations is being appreciated well by all the nations. So I am very much thankful to all these nations and also to the Liberia, where Liberia and India share a very special bond over a period of time. We are always there for Liberia, and as Liberia has also supported India in different international forums. So this is our submission. I would request my colleague, Ms. Basuri Swaraji, to shed some light on this and also to brief media on some details what happened along this whole trip of where we are spreading the message of peace and message of zero tolerance against terrorism. Thank you.
Professor, we're very grateful for this heartwarming gesture of yours, asking everybody to stand and take a moment of silence in memoriam of the victims of Pahalgam attack. This was a barbaric attack that was an attack on the soul of my nation. Liberia is the land of liberty and freedom. This is the land of Lima. This is the land of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. This is the land of William Tubman. So we came here with a lot of hope, and we are going back with our hearts filled with warmth, affection, and with a lot of, I would say we're very optimistic. Liberia has been a very old friend of India. The two nations have very robust bilateral relationship, and India has always stood by Liberia at all international fora, at multilateral fora, and especially during Liberia's time of need, either during Ebola or during COVID. I must first congratulate Liberia for a very formidable campaign that your government has run for your election for the UNSC non-permanent member seat. Please allow me to also extend congratulations in advance on behalf of the leader of my delegation, Dr. Shrikant Shinde, the entire delegation, my Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and congratulations on behalf of 1.4 billion Indians on what I know tomorrow will be a well-deserved election victory for Liberia and DR Congo to be a non-permanent member of the UNSC. Friends, you are in a very coveted position. You're in a very influential position in the world stage. And that is why we have come in our time of need to leverage our friendship and to request for you to stand tall in solidarity with India in this war against global terrorism. India is very competent in dealing with any kind of threat to her sovereignty. India is very competent in dealing with any kind of terrorist attack. But please note that terrorism is not a regional problem. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, the time for selective response is over. This is the time when the world needs to stand tall together and needs to call out morally those nations like Pakistan that are sponsoring terrorism, which are waging proxy war against nations like India because they know that they will be defeated in conventional warfare. Please note that nations like Pakistan need to be isolated diplomatically, called out morally, and certainly need to be responded to strategically. What happened on 22nd of April was a barbaric attack on humanity. A woman's husband is shot dead in front of her eyes. When she asks the terrorist to shoot her too because she has lost her will to live, they turn around and say, no, go back to your government and tell them what we have done. Please note that, as Dr. Shinde said, India responded with maturity and with restraint. We only targeted 9 known terrorist hubs in Pakistan. Pakistan is a known harbor of terrorism. You all know that the perpetrator and the mastermind of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Osama bin Laden, was found on Pakistani soil enjoying their hospitality, not very far from a military cantonment. And therefore, this is the time when India has drawn a line in the sand. We have reached the threshold of our patience. The new paradigm shift in India in this war against terrorism is terror and talk cannot go together, water and blood shall not flow together, and trade and terror cannot be held together. We are very grateful that in our trip, whether it was the UAE, which stood tall and said an attack on India is an attack on us, whether it was DR Congo that said that they will definitely stand with us shoulder to shoulder, or it was Sierra Leone which observed a moment of silence in their parliament, or even your beautiful nation Liberia, which was one of the first nations to not only send their condolences but also state their condemnation. And today, Liberia, as Dr. Shinde said, took a moment of silence in the Senate as well as by the Honorable Speaker. We are humbled, we are honored, and we are elated by this response that Liberia has given. The time, ladies and gentlemen, to act is now. Let us together defeat this cancerous monster called global terrorism and stand against nations like Pakistan that are waging proxy wars against growth, against development, and against humanity. Thank you.
What more? How do you think the people of other countries, what is singular thing you think should be done to exemplify that solidarity for them?
As you rightly mentioned, that this all-party delegation had visited UAE, DRC Congo, Liberia, Sierra Leone. And everywhere the sensitization and the degree of affirmation and support was overwhelming, which has already been provided by my leader of the delegation, Dr. Shinde, and my able colleague, Ms. Basari Swaraji. One aspect, apart from standing with us, condemning these gruesome attacks and expressing solidarity and also expressing their sorrow, is for these nations to stand with India in this fight against terror. So what are the actionable points that comes out of this fight of terror? That's what's your specific question. There are 2 nations that are moving forward to taking positions and seats at the high table at the UNSC. You have the UAE, who is a strong voice and a great friend of India at the international high table. Whether they are as OIC nations, whether they are as the GCC nations, they have a tremendous responsibility and voice. And whichever high table they sit on, they decide the narrative, they decide the decisions, they decide the perspective, they decide peace. Similarly, DRC, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, we are part of the African Union. Liberia is the voice of the African Union. In African Union, if I were to recall, in G20, when India held the G20, African Union was included into the G20 for the first time by India. And therefore, you can truly imagine what India looks forward from African Union is to be the voice that we will not allow terrorism to go unpunished, and terrorism anywhere is terrorism everywhere. We also request all those nations who are at the high table at the UNSC and others and multiple forums, OIC, GCC, AU, to come together and be one voice condemning this terrorism by Pakistan, one, ensuring that such attacks do not take place, two, and to call out Pakistan as a nation that is furthering terrorism in a very clear terms. There cannot be any good terrorist or a bad terrorist. There is one terrorist, and that terrorist needs to be exterminated and eliminated from this planet. That is what, my dear brothers and sisters, we are beseeching you today with. Be the voice. Stand with India. This is not a fight of India alone. This is the fight of the whole world. And an attack on India is also an attack on Liberia. An attack on India is also an attack on Africa. This is what we hope we can achieve together as one family, the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the Indian philosophy, that whole world is one family. We come with that philosophy of India. This is what we seek. Thank you.
Incident happened in April, and for us from the media, we've been following and we have heard Pakistan continue to deny that they were not the one participated in the atrocities, but as we've been following, there have been some attacks on either side. So we just want to know, in everything, the civilians continue to suffer. So besides coming to get solidarity from the countries across the world, what are some of the tangible steps you are taking on the ground to stop our civilians from being victims of this whole conflict, to stop casualties from your country?
It is the civilian who is the ultimate sufferer. See, my honorable leader Sindheji has already informed that on 22nd of April on our land 26 people were killed by the Pakistan terrorists. We waited for 15 days. We gave a message that you hand over the terrorists to us, or you at your own you deal with the terrorists. Pakistan did not do anything. Then we attacked 9 terrorist bases of Pakistan, the known terrorist bases, which was already recognized by the UNSC. We only killed some terrorists. Not a single civilian was touched or killed by the Indian forces. Thereafter, the next day, Pakistan attacked through drones, and some of the civilians of our country, they were killed. Then only we retaliated, and we had to damage certain military bases of air bases of Pakistan. See, India has never killed even a single civilian of Pakistan. On the other hand, my friend said that for last 4 decades we have been tolerating this. Our civilians are being killed through these terrorist activities in Bombay, and Pahalgam, in Pulwama, in Uri, several incidents we have been tolerating. But my friend also said that we have the capacity, we have the capability to deal with the terrorist and entire Pakistan. We have shown this Operation Sindoor that was undertaken by India, and we have shown our capacity, our energy. But this delegation, I'm telling you, we have come with a message of peace. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, have sent 7 delegations, and the purpose is to actually give a message and an awareness drive throughout the world against the terrorism. We have adopted already the zero tolerance policy under the leadership of our Prime Minister. This zero tolerance against the terrorism, this policy we want to convey to the entire world. Not a single civilian should be killed. This is our policy. Maybe of India or any part of the world. The civilians' rights, civilians' life, that has to be protected at any cost. And with this message, we have come, we have got full support of your country also. We have got full support of almost all the countries where we have visited. And now, a holistic strategy is to be sorted out for curbing the terrorism from all over the world. This is the message of this delegation. I hope that being the intellectuals, being the media people, you people also spread a message against the terrorism of Pakistan, and whomsoever is encouraging such terrorist activities. Thank you.
Again, we are deeply sorry for what you're experiencing. Your campaign of awareness, your campaign to deal with terrorism in a manner and form that you've set out to do is also a very good and a very moral campaign. However, we live in a world today where we've seen selective responses to terrorism. We're seeing double standards from nations that previously have used one standard to fight terrorism. So your increasing role after the April incident might raise expectation of how is India willing to proceed differently from previous nations that in the past tried to use one standard, and we see today selective responses to terrorism, we see today double standards to terrorism. How is India willing to proceed differently, and what lesson have you learned from nations that inspire hope before in fighting terrorism, behaving differently? Thank you.
Very responsibly towards this terrorism, we do what we perceive and what others perceive. We have always in favor of talks. We were always in favor of peace. India is one nation who always initiated the talks with our neighboring nation Pakistan. We were always the initiators. We were not the aggressors. Pakistan, on the other hand, is every time the aggressor. It was Pakistan every time who invaded India, who wanted to destabilize India, to destabilize the regional harmony, to destabilize the economy. But on the other hand, India never invaded any part of Pakistan. India never did any ceasefire violation. It was Pakistan who did this number of times. So we always have behaved responsibly. Our two prime ministers already have went to Pakistan for peace talks. We signed number of treaties. We signed number of declarations. But after every visit, every talk, every declaration, there was backstabbing by Pakistan, attack by Pakistan on Indian soil. So we were always in favor of peace talks. This time also, when Operation Sindoor happened, we acted very responsibly and neutralized the terror camps of Pakistan. We did not hit any civilian areas or civilian accommodations. Only the terrorists were killed. And then Pakistan requested for ceasefire, where India immediately positively responded to that ceasefire, and we did a ceasefire. So India has always behaved very, very responsibly against this terrorist attacks. India is very much capable to retaliate, to go on war, and every war initiated by Pakistan has been won by India. There was an Shimla agreement done after 1971 war, where we have reached the capital of Pakistan, but still we came back towards LOC because we didn't want any land of Pakistan, or we did not want anything from Pakistan. But it was always Pakistan who started invading or destabilizing India from 1947. If you compare both the nations, India and Pakistan got independence at the same time, 1947. Where India is and where Pakistan is. We are 4.2 trillion economy. Pakistan is only 400 billion economy. We are the fourth largest economy in the world, soon to become the third largest economy. They are not even in the top 10. We are the exporters of technology and talent to the entire world. What Pakistan does? They export terrorism to the world. We are the trade, we build trade corridors, where Pakistan built terrorist corridors. We launch satellites. What Pakistan launches? Terrorism, terrorist from the Pakistan soil. So we have more to lose. Pakistan doesn't have nothing. It has nothing to lose. Its only motive is to destabilize India, destabilize this fourth largest economy. So we are always in favor of talks. We are always ready for talks, and we are peace-loving nation. We come from the land of Mahatma Gandhi ji, and we come from land of Gautam Buddha.
I have a follow-up question to the response, and I have a follow-up question to that. India is a global power. It's becoming a global power, especially in a peace organization. And the issue of terrorism has been on the rise for some years now, especially to the Nigerian virus. Do you have any regret that you have not had a louder voice against terrorism?
Sorry, could you repeat the
Sorry,
question?
could you repeat the question?
Do you have any regret
Any regret of?
as a global power that you have not really been louder against terrorism up to now?
You know, my learned friends, they have already narrated that Pakistan tried to fight with India in conventional war. 3 times they went back with the bleeding nose. 1965 and 1971 war, they lost half of their body, means West Pakistan and East Pakistan. The East Pakistan was liberated into a different nation that is called Bangladesh today. And during that period, about 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered before the Indian army. And when we left, and when this Shimla Accord was signed, at that time, not only this 93,000 prisoner of war of 1971 were released honorably by India, but simultaneously Lahore was captured, Sialkot was captured, that was also returned back to them, and we came back to the LOC. We are peace-loving country and we want peace. But again, our Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee and our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both of them went to Pakistan with a peace message. So that, look, it is a geography, that geographical condition that you are my neighbor, I am your neighbor. But you are becoming a bad neighbor, always fighting. So let us change the history. Past is past. Let us start fresh. You live peacefully, I will live peacefully. I will grow, you will also grow. But they will not. They are trading in terror. Pakistan has become a breeding center of terrorism. In the entire world, wherever the terrorism incident occurred, take the instance of 9/11. The mastermind of 9/11 was identified by 9/11 Commission investigation team, and they identified Osama bin Laden. 9/11 happened in 2001, and Osama bin Laden was identified and located where? Abbottabad in Pakistan. Abbottabad is an army base of Pakistan. It is within the periphery of that army base, within the 1 kilometer area he was living and hiding. They identified, located him, isolated him and eliminated him on 2nd May 2011, after 10 years. 2001, UNSC passed a resolution to wage war against terror. Everybody taken precautionary measures to stop terrorism. We were also doing that. But again and again they were creating problem. Now this is the time. Now our Prime Minister, due to his vision, he understood that terrorism I can finish from India, from my neighborhood. But they will go to some other country. They will create problems for some other country. Because everywhere when the investigation takes place, it leads to Pakistan. Either they are getting training in Pakistan or getting logistic support from Pakistan. So that's why our Prime Minister, he decided that our team will go approach all the nation, because it is a menace. It is not like a COVID virus, like Ebola virus. It will not look or it cannot be stopped in the border. This virus can engulf the whole world. The same virus of terror, monster, it will engulf the whole world and it will destroy the peace and tranquility of the world. It will snatch away our freedom and liberty. That's why this team has started going to different nations to apprise you what is happening due to this, and ultimately you come together, join hand and prepare yourself to fight against this monster and finish it for all, which is the enemy of humanity. That was the message and that is the message. That's why we have started, and we are getting good response from all the countries. Thank you, sir.
And as such, I think it's about time that world leaders needs to put that foot down and get involved with it. Now you've met with the Liberian Senate, in the House of Legislature. And currently, you are now with the Liberia media. With this, I want to know, what role can Liberia play in bringing a peaceful resolution to this problem? Follow up to that, what implication does this have on international relations and within the region of Africa? You understood what I said, right? That's my question.
And Africa Union jointly, they raise their voice. The resolution of Liberia or condemnation of Liberia, this will further unite the whole Africa to fight against the terrorism. And it is not here only. Here it doesn't end here only. It will ultimately, we have to fight it on the international forums or the regional forums or the parliamentary forums to awaken people so that they should rise to the occasion and save the liberty and freedom of the nations. Our founder fathers, they have built the nations so that the future generation live there together peacefully with freedom and liberty.
You can also add into it.
Why has India not been shriller earlier or talked about this issue earlier? The fact is, India has always been talking about it. But the fact is that until recently, India stood alone in terms of being seen as a victim of global terrorism or cross-border terrorism. So for a very long time, the world assumed that any kind of terrorist act in South Asia was a matter between India and Pakistan. It had to do with territory, it had to do with other political, geopolitical and strategic issues, which was quite a big misunderstanding of the whole issue. It is only after 9/11, when the perpetrators of that horrendous crime were seen to have direct links with Pakistan, that the world woke up to the fact that it is Pakistan and Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, Pakistan-sponsored terrorist networks that are responsible for a large part of global terrorism. So India has always been speaking about it, and India has also been acting in this regard. And I'll give you two examples. The first is that in the instances where India suffered cross-border terrorism in the past, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has implemented his zero tolerance for terrorism policy over the last 10 years. It's only getting stronger now. And in 2016, for instance, when a large number of our soldiers were killed by terrorists that came from across the border, our special forces had conducted surgical strikes across the border against terrorist havens along the line of control. In 2019, similarly, the Indian Air Force had conducted cross-border strikes against terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. During India's non-permanent membership of the UN Security Council from 2021 to 2022, India also took the initiative to have discussions on international terrorism and hosted the UN Security Council's Counter-Terrorism Committee in New Delhi on the 28th and 29th of October 2022, which resulted in a very powerful and strong Delhi Declaration, which is against terrorism. It seeks to unite the world to combat terrorism, and especially the use of technologies, modern technologies by terrorists. So India has always been acting, and honestly speaking, the world is waking up to that threat there and now. And as far as Liberia is concerned, I think it's very important that Liberia, as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, use its good offices and its privileged position on that high table to not only speak out against cross-border and international terrorism, but also take steps to, put Pakistan under a spotlight. Pakistan has been on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force between 2018 and 2022. And it's a time for Pakistan to get back onto the grey list. Liberia can also take the initiative to scan more closely, get the international community to scan more closely the funds that are being released by the IMF to Pakistan for so-called developmental purposes, a great part of which is usually diverted by the military to its own uses, often finding its way into the hands of terrorists. And as to what is the implication for this region, there is a tremendous and looming threat to West Africa as well because of the very high spike in terrorist incidents in this part of the world. Earlier today, I referred to a UN Security Council report which was tabled on the 21st of January 2025. You might like to take the number down. It's Security Council document SC/15971, dated 21 January 2025. This entire document is devoted to the phenomenal rise of terrorism across Africa, with places like Burkina Faso having seen a 68% spike in the last 2 years in terrorist incidents. Almost 58 to 59% of all global terrorist incidents are taking place in Africa. And it's no longer confined to Boko Haram in Nigeria or Al-Shabaab in Tanzania, Somalia and Kenya, or groups like the Ahl Sunnah wal Juma in Mozambique. We are now seeing terrorism shift its resources onto West Africa, and not just Burkina Faso. So it's a question of being alert to this potential threat and to act against it before it knocks on your own doors. Thank you.
Some of the countries that you listed, because you listed specific countries, are there other countries that you would like to raise a global voice on the matter? My second question to you is, we have seen like 70 persons, died from both sides. It's an alarming concern. 70 persons, at least according to reports, from international outlets. So what remedy are you looking at in order to put an end to more people becoming victim in this situation?
See, we are nations. In future, our honorable leadership will think on cover more nations also to spread this message of peace and zero tolerance against terrorism. And see, India has always, as said, India is always a peace-loving nation, always initiated the talks. If you go in the history, it was always India who initiated talks so that all this can be settled with peace. Nobody wants a war. India also does not want a war. But when they launch these terrorist attacks or they invade India, India has right to defend itself, defend their people, defend their citizens. So that is why Operation Sindoor took place. We earlier also clarified, we attacked only the terrorist sites. Not a single civilian was killed.
Or even army base.
But contrary to this question has to be asked to Pakistan. Why so much of the terrorist attacks has been done on India over a period of time, where thousands of people have lost their lives. So it is not India to be asked what can be done. We are doing our best. We have taken the initiative, and on request of the ceasefire of Pakistan, we responded with positivity. And we are always a peace-loving nation. We are always in favor of peace.
My name is the president of all the reporters in Liberia. So I listened to one of the All right, thank you. I listened to one of the speakers. I think he said this situation has been existing for 5 decades.
5 decades.
5 decades. So I think I don't know whether India, this delegation is doing, it's been coming here to have here before. If not, if we've been having diplomatic talks, I think we have reached a stage that is of essence now that you come into Liberia, especially at the time Liberia is in the UN Security Council. So we've met with the actors, most of the actors, and for us in the media, it is our role to educate and to inform. And I think one of the key reasons that we're having a dialogue with the media is to help resonate your voice about the situation that is ongoing. We are media practitioners, and we can tell you exactly that we will help to resonate your voice in line with ethical standards. I remember the country Pakistan you're talking about, who probably they might come, and it is our role as journalists and media practitioners to help inform the public, especially what is right. So the actors will do their part, but for us as journalists, we will play our role in line with ethical procedure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
After completing a noble work, we are leaving tomorrow. Under the dynamic leadership of our team leader, we believe and we are satisfied to think that we did a noble work for our nation. In such a mission, a discussion with the press and intellectual persons, think tank, is really very useful because you are opinion makers. In that way, that is very essential. Not only that, our experience here is really wonderful. Even this day, we had threadbare discussion with the President of the Nation, Minister for Foreign Affairs, and the Speaker. And all these discussions were inspiring and encouraging. This gives us a feeling that a friend in need is a friend indeed. You have declared, your top authorities have declared wholehearted support for this great move. There is a question that whether this kind of discussion alone will solve the problem. This is a very strong foundation to fight against terrorism. The first step is to create awareness and kind of warning to the entire world that the consequences we may be able to face until that is properly addressed. Our chairman, even in this meeting, before 2-3 hours, were also saying that India's case, we have given all the substantiating details, nothing to hide. Chronological order, issue-wise, incident-wise, all this information we have given. Not only that, as correctly pointed out by our MPs, what we are going to do is, this is the first step. We will inform our government, the feelings and guidance and doubts and everything. Then the second part is what? Make a blueprint globally to curb these very dangerous things. UN resolution is there, that kind of international forum, the declaration is there, but in order to fight this kind of a very dangerous thing, we have to make a program of action at the global level. That's a must. So that will be the second step and continuing work on this. One thing is sure, this is an international racket, not only in particular, but they appear in different ways. maybe in trade war like that, maybe some kind of the religion, caste, creed and all kind of things. Because these people are wicked people, no? So they want to create confusion within the country. That also is a very, very dangerous thing, you know. Within the country itself, they may make this kind of things. So in order to address that, we must have appropriate strategy to do it. So what we are thinking is, we will also give our information, details, everything to the government, and India will continue this effort, because it is an effort for mankind, for entire country. So we feel that as the most important country in the world and mother of the democracy, India will have to play a pivotal role to unite the entire world to fight against terrorism. So this is all. Anyhow, in this way, your encouragement is very, very progressive one. We are really thankful to you all for the extraordinary interest you have taken in this fight against the terrorism. Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you for coming. We also want to say thank you to the Indian government for this kind of initiative. India, someone who did war history, is a very peaceful country. I listened patiently and courteously to the speakers. Pakistan and India divide almost 48 hours before independence. We learned that. And besides that, this country got a tremendous relationship with Liberia. We found one of our biggest investment group right now in Ghana-Indian relations. I bring you greetings from the Governance Commission. I co-chair, Professor Alawi Toba, he's not here. I'm the Communication Director.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was asked to come here. What I want to say here is that we want to add our voice to our national voice and voices that we be listening to in condemnation of this brutal or continuous brutal action from Pakistan. I would say our sympathy for the loss of those citizens. And we want to let you know that from the Governance Commission, we have a convening power as policymakers. We will do all we can do in the area of policy making to remember that terrorism is something we should fight together.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, I just want to say, my colleague there talked about what the different, what is it that we're going to do different? Or different? What happened here is that this has become a global issue. It has become a global issue.
Yes, global issue.
And you ask for think tank members to come here.
Yes.
We now want to give you solution, but we want to encourage
Thank you.
that we should keep thinking together.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
That is the motive behind this visit.
Yeah, we should keep this humanity in fighting terrorism together. Think different than how we approach it. Or through some bilateral action. Yeah. And this I trust India as a very peaceful country. Yeah, just push this and we going to stand up. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you.
much.
This is our. I think it was a very elaborate discussion, and thank you for coming over. Thank you everyone. Thank you all the media houses in Liberia. Thank you all the people from different think tanks, different organizations. I would thank the Honorable His Excellency, the President of Liberia, who gave his precious time for the delegation and who listened patiently what message India wants to give to the world, and he assured us that as before Liberia has stood with India, this time also in this fight against terrorism, Liberia is with India. Also, we met the Honorable Foreign Affairs Minister, we met the Honorable Speaker, we met the Honorable President of the Senate. So everyone responded very positively and everyone assured that in all the international forums they will condemn this act of terrorism, and as before they are with India, they will stand with India henceforth in fighting against this terrorism. So I thank the government, I thank all the leadership of this Liberia, I thank the people of Liberia, and also the Indian diaspora. The Indian diaspora is also very happy with the government. We met the Indian diaspora yesterday, so Indian diaspora is very happy with the policies of the government. I also thank each and everyone present here who will echo our voice, who will amplify our voice, who will carry our message to the whole of Liberia and to the whole of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.